This is called Battlewake. I spent a little bit of time with it. It's pretty fun romp, if you will. It's a pirate-themed arcade ship battle game. If you imagine, there's a couple, or at least one other game in VR that I've played that's very similar. I won't name it here. But if you can imagine, say, if you've played Assassin's Creed, the pirate one, I can't think of what that was called at the top of my head. Basically, it's that. So you're in ships, you're on water, you're fighting each other and trying to take down other ships. This has a very arcadey feel to it, in that in the Assassin's Creed game you could really only shoot from the side, so it was like broadside combat. Whereas this, you can kind of shoot from any angle. But first, we have to calibrate. I have to point my pretty fingers at the button here. Point. Survios, the developer here. No rookies to VR games. Sprint Vector, one of their big titles. Which, I looked at Sprint Vector. I like the idea behind it. I hated the controls and the movement scheme. It was too much for me to get to, for me to look past. This, however, is not the case. There we go. Nice flashy intro screen. Here we go. So multiplayer is coming soon. I can see that being a fun way to spend the day. Not necessarily an interactive menu, but a decent looking one nonetheless. There are many comfort levels in this game. Anything from having like the vignette on the sides whenever you turn.
I kept your treasures safe while you were gone, Captain.
Thanks, Boneface.
Most of it, at least.
So you cannot move
if you
around.
Want to hear tales of legendary pirate treasure? Campaign.
He's a ventriloquist.
If you're looking to take on as many lubbers as your crew can handle,
Lubbers.
Give warfare a try. And if you're looking to compete against some other scoundrels, maybe plundering will do. Whatever your choice.
It's not available.
Plenty of booty awaits.
Oh yeah. So as I was saying, plenty of comfort level settings, things like that. I have not. I'm fairly comfortable in VR games. I have not felt queasy or sick in this. Which, when you imagine being on a ship in the ocean, bouncing up and down, that's probably one of your main concerns. But have not had any issues. Main setup with this is, as he just mentioned, there's a campaign. The campaign is just a series of fights. I really didn't see anything different about them. It was just basically kill so many things until you've killed them all and move on to the next spot. The war chest, there are captains that you can unlock. And by captains, that kind of goes to your ship as well. Diego's the one I started with. They have different power-ups. There's one that's kind of like a special power, and then just an ultimate. So really only 2 powers for each one, and they kind of vary. Like Diego's, his first one was a boost to speed and healing, and then a second one was kind of a storm. This lady here, who I just unlocked, she's very tentacly. And of course, these last 2 I have not unlocked yet, but you do that by playing the campaign, which again is nothing difficult. I assume as you play them more, you get stats to level them up. So it doesn't look like you get to choose, though. It looks like that's something that they do for you. Played him enough to unlock this gal and got a couple extra points and stuff here. It doesn't look like they're huge changes or anything like that. If you want some bio on Diego, blah blah blah, that's there. So a little bit to unlock. I think probably a lot of the stuff, especially with the multiplayer mode being called Plunder, maybe they'll add some more stuff to unlock. But we'll just go ahead and keep playing the campaign. And I do like this. So it's kind of a... I'm guessing this is what other people would see if you could do multiplayer. Yeah. But anyway, here we go. We'll just get right in here.
If you wish to hear the tale of how the Relentless became the most feared ship on these waters, then look no further. That accursed tale begins one sad and sordid night, with a messenger of the Queen's company being chased down by a force of nature, being chased down by me.
So, since I'm kind of starting in the middle of the campaign with this, I imagine it won't be too many spoilers. Again, it's not real story heavy. And hopefully the difficulty is not up too high, because it has been a couple weeks since I was in this. So controls are very basic. You have your wheel here, makes you go back and forth, obviously. You have two anchors right here, which kind of work counterproductive to what you would think to an anchor. As you can see, as I pull up, it actually turns the ship that way. So even though they're anchors, they don't stop you as much as they allow you to make really sharp turns. This wheel here is probably the biggest problem, in the sense that you don't have a physical wheel in real life, or at least you probably don't unless you somehow built one or something. So it's kind of hard for the tracking to keep track of where you are. At least it's hard for you to remember, okay, if my hand's here, is it because I went all the way around or around the other way? But you'll see. To get going, hit the bell.
The Queen's company grows weak.
You can shoot with either hand, and you have very generous aiming reticles. Ooh. Yeah, he's dead. One thing in the other games I've played, so you want to watch out for that, that's where they're going to end up shooting, is see if I can't get around here. Oh yeah, it was very, like I mentioned earlier, broadside combat focused, so you had to get, I probably shouldn't run into that, get on the side of somebody to hit them like I am now. And this you do not have to. However, your strongest attacks are from the side, but as they get in front of me, I can still shoot. And you can shoot with either hand. So if you're more comfortable with shooting with one hand versus the other, you can switch on the fly. So like right now, my left hand is trying to steer, but it kind of is not really sure which way I'm trying to go because of the lack of a physical wheel. So at this point, I'm going to use my anchor to make a sharp left turn, avoid some stuff, get back in shooting range. There, and that's how the anchors work. I imagine someone who's really good with the anchors has a very big advantage in this. Let's see if I can remember how to do this super power here. Right now I'm actually shooting and steering with the same hand. I probably want to turn. Yeah, I want to get that guy. Like I said, all of the missions I've played so far, all the ones with the character I unlocked, and obviously so far all the ones with this character, is this. You're just kind of going around in sort of an arena. And killing as many ships until they say you've killed enough. So there's not really a story per se. And of course, how well you do, how long it takes you, how much damage you take, how many times you die. You get a 1 to 3 skull rating. Ooh.
The Great One awakens from her slumber.
Okay, so I think that means I got my superpower here. That was it. A big old tentacle, or at least one of them. So yeah, I can shoot even when straight on. It just doesn't do as much damage as if I hit from the side. Can shoot from directly behind as well. So, oh, this ship seems to have flamethrowers. I will say that the two different pirates or ships captains I've unlocked so far do play a little differently in their weapons. See, I don't even have the wheel at this point, even though I thought I should have. She has flamethrowers, whereas Diego had barrels that he would shoot out. Yeah. So I wasn't even turning that whole time. And I guess this is my biggest complaint, is the gameplay, though fun, gets really old really quick because there's no real variety in the missions.
It's time you embrace death.
This one, it's also not very clear what you're supposed to do in the missions. One of them made it like I had to get to an island. I got all the way to the island and then I just had to kill more ships. And in this one, apparently I just need to take out this big one.
Why don't we get acquainted? I searched their wreckage for the secret they so desperately sought to deliver, and I found it. The pathway to Shambhala had been opened, and my throne was ready to be claimed.
So what I'm actually going to do...
We were well on our way to the treasure when our path was besieged by an unusually burdensome moron. The wretched Captain Calavera had decided he needed to lose some men today.
So sassy. So what I actually do here...
Remember the wrath of Diego Tejana the Fourth.
I'll go back and play a Diego mission just so you can kind of get the feel of what his ship is like.
Well, until we hit that big icy place just north of here. That one with the war.
So for a game where they have more stuff on the way, namely the multiplayer, I think it's definitely a good start. Yeah, see, this wheel just seems too high. Diego's been hit the gym. There we go. But, so yeah, his rear attack.
Okay, they're going a lot faster than we are. Let's blow a hole in the rudder.
As I mentioned, there's no motion sickness, at least not for me, and I actually have all the most of the comfort level stuff turned off because I am more comfortable with games. So I would say that's probably the most impressive about this. Oh, that was his power up, which makes him move faster and heals a little bit.
I swear I wasn't drinking. At least not more than usual. Is that why it seemed like there were so many boats attacking me? Just when they thought they had gotten away, they were sunk.
That was that one.
I was the only one left to claim the throne. Well, at least for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. So like I said, the missions are
I had stolen a few
not very creative. I don't know. I don't know that I'd want to see like a fetch quest necessarily, or even, God forbid, an escort quest or something like that. But just something more, because so far every single one has been drive around, shoot other ships. No real treasure gathering, no booty, no exploring the island or anything like that. But hey, if you're looking for pirate ship combat, then at least an easygoing one in the sense of an arcade, this one might be for you. I've enjoyed my time with it. I don't believe I'm going to be checking back in until they add some more content. Maybe even something beyond multiplayer, because I don't think that's really what this is missing. But it's definitely a good start, good framework for something that could be really, really special.